Good afternoon. It's time to start Granny Shares the Bible again, and I'm going to start on chapter 26. It says, Moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined linen, and blue and purple and scarlet. With cherubims of cunning work shalt thou make them. So, fine twined linen. I do not know what that looks like, but I do know that it must have been some very nice material to hang as a curtain for the tabernacle. And it was blue and purple and scarlet. Those sound so pretty together, don't they? I love those colors, and I love this color of green in the midst of it too. But he didn't say green. So blue and purple and scarlet. With cherubims of cunning work shalt thou make them. So sounds like it was embroidered with cherubims. The length of one curtain shall be 28 cubits, and the breadth of one curtain 4 cubits. And every one of the curtains shall have one measure. So they had to have 28, one curtain had to be 28 cubits long. Well, 28 cubits is a foot and a half, so it was 28 feet plus 14 feet, which would have been 28 plus 14 would have been 42. 42 feet of a curtain. So that was some kind of curtain, wasn't it? 42 feet by 6 cubits, or 6 feet. 6 feet by 42 feet. And one long curtain, and it's embroidered with cherubims and cunning work. Perhaps they had the material to sew together to make the curtain, because I don't think anybody would have had 42 feet of material, just one piece. I don't know, but they had what they needed to make this. And it says, the 5 curtains shall be coupled together one to another, and other 5 curtains shall be coupled one to another. And thou shalt make loops of blue upon the edge of the one curtain from the selvage in the coupling, and likewise also thou make in the uttermost edge of another curtain in the coupling of the second. 50 loops shalt thou make in the one curtain, and 50 loops shalt thou make in the edge of the curtain, that is the coupling of the second, that the loops may take hold one of another. So it had loops on the top and loops on the side, sounds like to me. And thou shalt make 50 taches of gold, and couple the curtains together with the taches, and it shall be one tabernacle. So they were taking those taches, might have been called tacks. I don't know if it pronounced tacks or taches. I tried to look it up. Nobody had it there. The only thing they had was TACH, meaning short for a tachometer. But they didn't have the TACHES that this is. So anyhow, I like to say taches because it attached the curtains together with those loops down, and the 2 loops were attached together with the taches. And thou shalt make 50 taches of gold, and couple the curtains together with the taches, and it shall be one tabernacle. Wasn't it beautiful? Blue and purple and scarlet, with cherubims embroidered on them probably, and then attached with gold, little gold taches. Maybe they were like little circles or something like that put the loops together. And thou shalt make curtains of goat's hair to be a covering upon the tabernacle. 11 curtains shalt thou make. The length of one curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the breadth of one curtain 4 cubits, and the 11 curtains shall be all of one measure. And thou shalt couple 5 curtains by themselves, and 6 curtains by themselves, and shalt double the 6th curtain in the forefront of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make 50 loops on the edge of the one curtain that is outmost in the coupling, and 5 loops in the edge of the curtain which coupleth the second. And thou shalt make 50 taches of brass, and put the taches into the loops, and couple the tent together, that it may be one. And the remnant that remaineth of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain that remaineth, shall hang over the backside of the tabernacle. Okay, so now we're talking about the tabernacle. We're not talking about the area around. There's an area around the whole thing. The tabernacle was the tent in the middle. And let's see. Thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains. So this is talking about the tabernacle. And I believe the tabernacle was the tent on the inside of the curtains that enclosed the whole tabernacle area. So let's go on. I might find out something different as we go, but this is what I believe. And then it says, okay, and couple the tent together, that it may be one. So they were putting the ram skins over what they had done for the tent itself. And a cubit on the one side, and a cubit on the other side of that which remaineth in the length of the curtains of the tent. It shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle on this side and on that side to cover it. And thou shalt make a covering for the tent of ram skins dyed red, and a covering above of badger skins. So I guess the goat's hair were the ram skins dyed red, and a covering of badger skins. Okay, so the tent was made out of this beautiful linen, fine twined linen, and then there were ram skins dyed red over that, and then there was a covering of badger skins. Now, I've always had the question, where in the world did they get these badger skins? Badgers are very fierce creatures, and they're not something that somebody can easily catch or easily get their skin off of them. Badgers are mean, and the only thing I can think that is that it was a style in Egypt to have something made out of badger skins, and they borrowed a bunch of them, because I don't know about them killing all these badgers to get their skins. But it was going to take a lot for the tent to have a covering of ram skins dyed red and a covering above of badger skins. So it looked like they made the tent curtains all around, and then they covered all of it, the top and every bit of it, with the ram skins dyed red and the badger skins. So why did the Lord want the ram skins dyed red? Perhaps to symbolize the blood of Christ. Perhaps to symbolize the blood of Christ, and that all, without the shedding of blood, there's no remission of sins. There was always shedding of blood to bring people to the place that they could be with the Lord. And then a covering of badger skins, and badgers are fierce. So it was like God was saying, you're not going to be unpowerful. The tabernacle is not something that has no power, has no strength. And the badger skins were something to say, look at this place. It's covered in the skins of a fierce animal. Look at this place. It's a fearful place. And God is great. He made the badger. But the badger is a fierce animal. And here his skins are on this tent. And verse 15 says, and thou shalt make boards for the tabernacle of shittim wood standing up. 10 cubits shall be the length of a board, and a cubit and a half shall be the breadth of one board. 2 tenons shall be there in one board, set in order one against another. Thus shalt thou make for all the boards of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make the boards for the tabernacle, 20 boards on the south side southward. And thou shalt make 40 sockets of silver under the 20 boards, 2 sockets under one board for his 2 tenons, and 2 sockets under another board for his 2 tenons. And for the second side of the tabernacle on the north side there shall be 20 boards. And there 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. And for the sides of the tabernacle westward thou shalt make 6 boards. And the 2 boards shalt thou make for the corners of the tabernacle in the 2 sides. And they shall be coupled together beneath, and they shall be coupled together above the head of it unto one ring. Thus shall it be for them both. They shall be for 2 corners. And they shall be 8 boards, and their sockets of silver, 16 sockets, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. And thou shalt make bars of shittim wood, 5 for the boards of the one side of the tabernacle, and 5 boards for the boards of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the side of the tabernacle for the 2 sides westward. And the middle bar in the midst of the boards shall reach from end to end. And thou shalt overlay the boards with gold, and make their rings of gold for places and for the bars, and thou shalt overlay the bars with gold. So this was the skeleton of the tabernacle, and it was made out of all these boards that were covered in gold, and that were attached to each other by sockets of silver. I don't know why they make me cry. I don't know. And thou shalt rear up the tabernacle according to the fashion thereof which was showed thee in the mount. So God was letting them have a place approximating his throne in heaven. The tabernacle. Verse 31. And thou shalt make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen of cunning work. With cherubim shall it be made. Same prescription of material. And this was going to be the veil of the temple, of the tabernacle. And thou shalt hang it upon 4 pillars of shittim wood overlaid with gold. Their hooks shall be of gold upon the 4 sockets of silver. And thou shalt hang up the veil under the taches, that thou mayest bring in thither within the veil the ark of the testimony. And the veil shall divide unto you between the holy place and the most holy. And thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark of the testimony in the most holy place. And thou shalt set the table without the veil, and the candlestick over against the table on the side of the tabernacle toward the south, and thou shalt put the table on the north side. And thou shalt make an hanging for the door of the tent of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen, wrought with needlework. And thou shalt make for the hanging 5 pillars of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, and their hooks shall be of gold, and thou shalt cast 5 sockets of brass for them. So the tabernacle has been prescribed how it was supposed to look. And I want to go on into 27 because I want to see what else they did. And I know that this is just mainly reading it, but it's giving the description of it in our minds. And we need that description in our minds. And thou shalt make an altar of shittim wood, chapter 27, verse 1. 5 cubits long and 5 cubits broad. The altar shall be 4 square, and the height thereof shall be 3 cubits. So this is the altar that they are going to burn the sacrifices on. And it is 5 cubits long, be 7.5 feet long, and 7.5 feet broad. And it shall be 4 square, meaning it's the same length as width. And the height thereof shall be 3 cubits, or 4.5 feet. Okay? So it's going to be I'm 5'7". It's going to be like that to me, like up to my above my waist, 4.5 feet. And thou shalt make the horns of it upon the four corners thereof. His horn shall be of the same, and thou shalt overlay it with brass. So this is not gold. Gold is in the presence of God, and brass is out here that the sacrifices are going to be burnt on. And thou shalt make his pans to receive his ashes, and his shovels, and his basins, and his flesh hooks, and his fire pans. All the vessels thereof thou shalt make of brass. And thou shalt make for it a grate of network of brass, and upon the net shalt thou make 4 brazen rings in the 4 corners thereof. And thou shalt put it under the compass of the altar beneath, that the net may be even to the midst of the altar. And thou shalt make staves for the altar, staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with brass. And the staves shall be put into the rings, and the staves shall be upon the 2 sides of the altar to bear it. Hollow with boards shalt thou make it, as it was showed thee in the mount, so shalt thou make it. And then we go to the court. Okay, so that was the tabernacle back there. And then the court of the tabernacle is enclosed with curtains. So just think about how this is made. I think I'm going to stop right there, and we'll get to the court tomorrow and talk about all that, how it was made. And just realize that God wanted to have a place. He wanted to have a mercy seat. He wanted to have a place with us. And the Bible says that Jesus is God with us. We need him, don't we? All the time, every day. And he is golden. You know, you look up in the sky and there's this figure called Orion. Orion means the golden one. And he is, in man's way of looking at that constellation, he is called the hunter. But when you see him, when you see Orion in the sky, it's Jesus. It's God putting him there. And at his right hand is Auriga, which is the Holy Bible. And his left hand is like this, praising God. Like that, praising God. And behind him comes the dog constellation Sirius. And it's running behind him. That's all of us Gentiles running after him. Yes, the stars tell the story, don't they? Okay, I'm going to go, and I will be back tomorrow, Lord willing, and we will learn about that court. See you then.